Hello, African Diaspora News family. My name is Reneilwe Morema, and I am your host right here on the African Diaspora News channel. I'm reporting live from Johannesburg, South Africa. Remember in my previous segment where I mentioned that foodborne illnesses are now declared a national disaster, and the white people were up in arms, naming every scientific element and product in this Spaza Shop that could potentially be fatal and be responsible for the death of children across South Africa. And I was like, something is off. The way the white people have so much energy to bring down these foreign-owned Spaza Shop, they must be onto something, or they must be benefiting something, or they might want to infiltrate the Spaza Shop industry and take it for themselves. And ding, 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 I was right. I'm not disputing the fact that children did die at the hands of foreign-owned Spaza Shop food products, but there's a much bigger propaganda at play. There's a much more bigger force at play than what meets the eye in the media. And I was right. Now the white-owned supermarkets and corporates are moving their way into the Spaza Shop industry. And you know what that means? It means now that food is going to be expensive for people in the rural areas. Food is going to be expensive. You won't be able to access the basic necessities that you always have access to when the foreign Spaza Shop industry still had power in the rural areas. We all know that South Africa is full of townships and villages that are predominantly black people, and these foreign-owned Spaza Shop acted as a gap to kind of alleviate the poverty that black people in the rural areas are facing, and also to decrease the food prices that is currently happening in South Africa. We know that the cost of living is high in South Africa. Food prices surge higher and higher every single month. So the Spaza Shop industry acted as a mediator within that whole shenanigans, within that whole happening there, within that whole event. So while prices are going up in these white-owned corporate supermarkets that are targeting the suburbians and the city people, the village people can't afford anything in the supermarkets. So the Spaza Shop act as a mediator by decreasing the prices and getting products that you desperately need at a lower price thanks to these Spaza Shop. Now, since I've mentioned that South Africa is surrounded by township and villages that are predominantly black people, it means majority of the business goes to these Spaza Shops. That is the reason why today they are a multi-billion-dollar or multi-billion rand industry. So the white people are like, no, we are losing business. Yes, we have the suburbians, the city people, but there's a lucrative business that the foreign-owned Spaza Shop have tapped into, and they've made money, and it's the Spaza Shop industry. Majority of the poor people in the villages can't afford to take a taxi, which costs like 23 rands. Already you lost 23 rand. 23 plus 23, how much is that? I think it's 46. You've lost 46 rands going in and out of town, buying extremely expensive food that is not gonna last you for a month even. So with the Spaza Shop industry, when you get your 500 rand grant from the government, or whatever little income you get from the little piece job that you do, you know that you have a relationship with the foreign-owned Spaza Shop owners, that they'll give you the food at a discount, or sometimes they can allow you to have tabs. You can take this amount of money and pay next month. You have a tab already. They allow that. The corporate world does not allow that. The corporate supermarkets does not allow that. So that relationship right now, the white supermarkets, the corporate have severed it by spreading this propaganda that all Spaza Shops sell poisonous food that kill people. And we have, black people, black South Africans, we have embarked on a journey of hating foreigners, that we will climb on this hate train and, cause conflict with these foreigners and run them out of our villages. And we are shooting ourselves in the foot, because now these white-owned corporate supermarkets are coming in the villages, there'll never be discounts. They'll never give you food at a low rate. They are here to make money. What they will do, since you are so desperately crying to have your own Spaza shop and run the Spaza shop industry, what they'll do is that they'll give you guys little containers, supermarket containers. They own the brand, you just work the brand, and you earn a salary while they take everything. So basically, we just shot ourselves in the foot. You understand? So I think as South Africa, it is time to take a much more careful look at supermarkets which use their market and corporate power to push smaller players and small micro medium enterprises owned by South Africans and foreign nationals out of South Africa's township economy. We need to look at that aspect. Instead of just climbing on this bandwagon of hate and xenophobia, look at the bigger picture, what the white people are doing. While popular attention and the media have focused the identity politics that pit poor South Africans and foreigners against each other, our report suggests that these interpretations miss other important parts of the story. Number one, the changing competitive dynamics within the informal retail grocery sector. On the other hand, the rise of supermarkets trading into the township economy. On the other hand, as I've mentioned, these changes have had profound impacts on the traditional Spaza shop business, which historically represented one of the main economic opportunities for household micro enterprises.
Tiger brand expanded Spaza shop business. Niabona mara guys. Poisoning the kids now makes sense, and I know very well that you guys are not ready for this conversation. Masiege, let's leave it like that. Maybe one day it will start making sense to you guys.
Now, during my research, I have found that the structural change has been driven by large business, notably corporate retailers and independent retail groupings. While it is obvious that supermarkets bring some benefits such as cheaper food and an increasingly diverse range of groceries, they also initiate a competitive race to the bottom that squeezes profits and therefore livelihoods out of micro enterprises in the informal retail sector, aka the Spaza shops. As a result, South Africa's Spaza sector has been completely reorganized. The owner-operated Spaza shops, familiar from previous decades, are now largely a thing of the past. Their place has been taken by larger networks of vertically integrated shops acting as retail outlets for wholesalers and warehouses that supply most, if not all, their stocks. The people working behind the counter in these outlets are typically no longer owner-operators. Instead, they are mostly employees, as I've mentioned, who we learned often work under grim and exploitative conditions outside the protections of South African labor law. In addition to working excessive hours for pitiful pay, they are often vulnerable and isolated, facing crime and xenophobic hostility in their daily lives. By the way, if you think that running foreign-owned Spaza shop out of the economy is fine, the backward linkage from these shops and their upstream wholesalers reach deep into the formal sector to higher level importers, wholesalers, and manufacturers desiring access to these markets, in some cases aided and abetted by corrupt politicians and government officials who are only too happy to turn a blind eye to the existence of profitable large-scale retail networks operating in the informal sector. This is what's going to happen, guys, when you think that running out foreign-owned Spaza shop that you already have a relationship with out of the Spaza shop economy or out of the townships, you are shooting yourself in the foot, because these these wholesale retailers, these upsale supermarkets that are white owned, that are corporate, they're going to come in, take over the Spaza shop industry, employ you, exploit your labor. By the way, exploit your labor, pay you cheap rent while they take the whole pie. They're going to pay you less than what you deserve. While they make you think that you are running the Spaza shop industry, you are entrepreneurs. At the end of the day, what you really are their employees, they're bus boy, they're good garden boys and girls. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. I'm not saying turn a blind eye on the deaths of children across South Africa. Yes, someone needs to be held accountable. But don't you think that we are probably holding the wrong people accountable? That the real mastermind, the propaganda spreaders, are the ones that are now ready to take over the Spaza Shop industry. The white people, they stand to benefit. Wherever there's money, they will go. They are not satisfied with their target market in the suburbs and the cities. They want the villagers too. And now the villagers, we are poor. We don't have enough money. We live on tabs and social grant money from the government. We are in for the shock of our lives because, yeah, the corporates, they are all about money. You don't have, you don't get, you'll remain poor. What do you think about the segment? A comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking conversations right here on the African Diaspora News channel. My name is Reneilwe Morema. It has been an absolute pleasure.